Hello and welcome to the Leadership Summit here at Western Illinois University. I'm your host, Quentin Parker, and I'm excited to have as my guest today, Deante Barksdale. Deante is an up-and-coming leader in the WIU and Macomb community. He contributes his leadership to the dance community, in which he serves as the president of the Delta Phi Delta Dance Fraternity Incorporated. Deante, how you doing today?
I'm fine. How you
Thank
doing?
you for being here, man.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so my first question to you is, what are your thoughts about the student's experience and how dance and getting involved can shape that experience?
I mean, we all come from different backgrounds, from different states, cities, and basically with that dance experiences, we have to, no matter where we come from, we all have to figure out ways to channel our energy in a positive light. So most of us, pretty much everybody just use the form of dance as a way to become a stress reliever, or just some way to get out some kind of a message to the way they're feeling and how they want to try to make a change. If not if they're self, but also in the community that they're trying to impact.
Okay, so you talk about impacting the community and making change. What are some ways you use dance to try to do those things, though?
Dance, I mean, we can use, with that, we can actually use like showcases, bringing people together for some sort of entertainment. Everybody deals with work week, school, and then there's always that time where you need some time to relax. So why not have some kind of positive activity to actually go to, where you can actually see dancers out there and going out there showing their talents and making you a little bit less stressful from a long, hard week of work or school.
Right, okay, so we got a stress relief. What about crossing cultures and getting people to see what different cultures and ethnicities, how they express themselves? How do you think that plays into leading people into being more inclusive in our communities?
Well, we go with the ethnic diversity, because each culture has, ethnicity has different, have different ways and styles of dance.
Right.
You have, the Latinos, they have their way of dance. The African Americans, they have their way of dance. And the Europeans, they have their way of dance as well. Same thing as with the Asians and the Indians, or brown folks, which to be politically correct.
Right.
They have their own way of style of dancing, and there's all different types of genres with that style of dance, where people want to come out and actually enjoy watching them perform in that type of way.
So as president of Delta Phi Delta, and you say you told me you're also involved in quite a few other dance companies or organizations around on campus. Give us a little insight to the other organizations you work with and do things with.
Well, the other organizations I have that's dance involved is I was a member of Gwendolyn Brooks Culture Center. I have ties with House Arrest 2. I have members that's of my organization that's also a part of PPMT, which is the Picture Perfect Modeling Troupe. Then there's members that's also part of Heritage Ensemble. Outside of that, community-wise, I am part of Sarah organization, which is a student athletic recruitment association, where myself and one other individual will come together, put together basketball games, or he'll help rehab student athletes from injuries or get them prepped for the next level. Then also, I'm also a member of, was currently a member of the NAACP for WIU. I'm currently working on the one for the Macomb chapter as well. So that's it, and then there's other projects that I have going on, which is going to be explained later on down the road, once the ink dries, pretty much, so to say.
So when did you realize what leadership was really about for you, in dance and in the community?
Actually coming down to Macomb, getting accepted into First Spoon River, then transferred into Western Illinois. That's when I started dancing with GBCC to become more of a trained professional than versus to a freestyler.
So how did you get involved in dance originally, though?
Originally, well, back home, like I said, everybody comes up with some form of way of dance or some kind of outlet to turn negative energy into positive energy. when I first started dancing, back home in Chicago, we did a lot of footworking.
Yeah.
That's just the people that I dealt with. So we just traveled around to different parts of Chicago and the suburbs, and we'll find people like little parties and stuff that involve that type of style of dance. And that's how we got a lot of aggression, a lot of anger out just through footworking.
So you've been dancing for a long time, but when did you realize, clearly what you were trying to do as far as from a leadership standpoint to get other kids to see the same thing? Like when did it take you to realize that you were going to be a leader instead of just somebody who was a dancer?
It took me until once I joined the NAACP for WIU. We went to a Big 12 conference, which was spearheaded by Ms. Belinda Carr. And I went out to the Big 12 conference at Mizzou University, and I had a blast. They taught you more about leadership skills and how to conduct yourself as a leader from then on, pretty much. And some of that knowledge and understanding I still carry with myself today.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the leadership process. So what things are you into as far as the process? You said you're choreographing and you're organizing events. Give us a little insight to some of those different skills that you try to use to make those things happen.
Well, I mean, I'm just one person.
Right.
And in order to accomplish something as a big an event, you need more people there to be properly placed to help that event out. So what I'll, sometimes I'll reach out, or I have my fraternity brothers to actually come help me out to put on an event, and we'll have specific ways that we'll have specific assignments to help to make an event go on safely and smoothly.
Okay. So have you met any resistance to your process and thoughts and ideas on this particular avenue of leadership in the community?
Well, there's always going to be resistance, no matter what kind of event you have, either if it's through paperwork, like contracts, overbooking, or double booking. I mean, you have, if it's not that, it can be somebody that you're actually dealing with that's probably have issues with the police or something like that. Like, it's always thing, or it just may not be a big of a turnout because people are just not interested in your on what you're trying to do, and you might have something else going on. So it's like basically, anything can go wrong when organizing any type of an event.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you've picked up on learning to cope with those situations that may not turn out the best? And how can you pass that on to some of the people that you work with, young dancers and young students?
Just keep faith, hope alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody comes into a brick wall.
Right.
You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You gotta go straight through it. A wall will break more quickly than a human spirit would.
Right.
So you just take that. Dance, keep going, and keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused.
What kind of tools are you using to improve on your dance and community leadership skills?
A lot of things, a lot of avenues. Just you're doing research. The internet still is a great, reliable way of research to get your idea flowing or your creativity flowing. New music to old music. There's so much stuff that you can do to stay focused, to keep your creative juices going in order to keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. From a leadership standpoint, what are some of the barriers in our local community that we're facing as far as trying to get people involved?
Basically, it's just more of a lot of diversity that goes on in this community. It's like at a standpoint, like at a standstill, pretty much. You have. I look at it as like groups. You know what I'm saying? You have the community versus the student community, which for some reason is not coming together as much. So it's like myself is trying to help to bridge a gap for that, to bring the campus community and the regular Macomb community together, so we can both work together and be peaceful with that. Also with ethnicities, the diversity between that, and trying to bring everybody together, because we all work as one to make a change and impact this town and this campus. Then it can go a long way, and then you'll start seeing more changes will happen. Like people will actually start to come together more. You won't see so much negativity that you see on social media. It'll be more people just working together to help end certain stuff. Racism being one of them. Is being a real big part of that needs to be handled, discussed, figured out, worked on, whatever the case may be. But it needs to come to a halt. But only how we do that is we got to figure out ways to communicate with each other, so that we can actually be on the same page and learn how to work together versus to being separate and being divided.
You speak about communication. I think that's a really important tool. We talked about that in our pre-discussions for this show about how communication is one of the best tools that you have as far as trying to get things accomplished. And I know that there's some people in our community, higher up people, more very prestigious people who can be of help as far as creating more diversity and inclusion. Have you reached out to any of those people? Have you tried to figure out people that you could talk to try to break down those barriers? Yeah,
I definitely have. I've spoke with Mayor Mike Inman about it and coming together to make some kind of philanthropy work so that members of the student community to try to lend a hand out to the actual community, like getting started with the Boys and Girls Club, or not Brothers and Girls Club, the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization. Also trying to come together to figure out some way to be a part of Prime. Prime is something that I've witnessed by me being down here for so long, that it deals with younger kids that's in the community, and try to bring them back to life, because we know that the higher ups are getting to a certain age to where they're ready to retire. And it's up to us as the next leaders to come out and try to pretty much grasp the concept, or grasp what they was doing at first, and then try to make it better, or keep it the same, or make it more better than what they already have been doing, and just try to keep that traditional way of going on.
Okay, so when it comes to dance, this is sort of not so much a sport-related question, but finding the optimal arousal, getting the best out of the young dancers and the students that you work with. How do you manage all the individuals and manage to bring them together on a level where everybody is kind of dealing with the same arousal level? So I guess the question would be better is, since everybody has a different level that they need to be reached on, how do you manage those different personalities when it comes to a dance group?
Communication and practice. Practice always make perfect, but communication, first you got to get them to a specific area. In order to say, all right, here we go. We have this event that's going on, and we have this amount of days, weeks, times, minutes, hours to get this done, because this show is going to go on with or without you. But we want you. You know what I'm saying? You came to us. We're going to go ahead and teach you this, and then it's just practice. Practice, no matter what. You practice during practice, you practice outside of practice. Whatever chance you have, throw a move out there. If you're waiting on a bus, do a little 8 count if you could, or a little 2 count, something like that, just to keep your mind fresh. So when it's time to come to actually perform, you already have the knowledge of the performance, and and the muscle memory from all the practice. There shouldn't be no reason for you to mess up anything.
Perfect practice makes perfect, for sure. So when you're looking for the leaders that are gonna help you, set a better example, how do you find the heart of a dance team? And when you find it, how do you nurture that? What do you do with it?
Well, in my eyes, like as a dance team, a team is a team. It's one person, one beat, one team. And just to find the heart, like we always try to match a certain level of intensity to to not only to get the arousal of the choreographer, but also to get the arousal of the fans. Because if you can get the arousal of the choreographer, where you get the choreographer hype to jump up and move around, like, okay, and you're doing this about as hard as the person who taught the dance, then you're gonna know that the general crowd is going to like that, you know. And by us moving as dancers, we all move to the same beat. So I really consider ourselves just all as one big heart. There's no individual person that will point out like, oh yeah, you know, you're just better as this next person. No, you two got to be on the same beat and the same rhythm, and show the same type of energy, you know.
All right, so it sounds a lot like sport. You know, you're trying to get students and players to buy into the fact that you're all one unit. And if one piece, you know, you're only as strong as the weakest link. And it's important that they understand that they have to pull each other together and be one unit to make sure that everything is smooth. I can imagine in dance, it's pretty easy to point out some of the
flaws
and some people who may need more pushing, more shoving when it comes to getting it together. So we all know that there's good and bad events that happen to students and over their careers. And what are some of the more negative or bad events that could happen to a dancer that might be, in the end, could be a positive thing for them?
Injuries is one of the #1 causes that they could sidetrack a dancer from deciding if they want to dance again or not. Like, you have a broken or sprained Achilles or ankle, or you might tear your ACL or something. But it's up to that dancer and how much heart and determination they have to rehab themselves and get back out there on the dance stage. So that's one accountability of that. And then, you know, everybody still have their family and school. You know, their academics may be a big part of it, where they have to decide if they want to continue on with the dance team and going as hard as they can, or do they want to be focused to that. As myself personally, I will tell them, get your school first. You know, the dancing will always be there. Dance teams will always be here. You can always come back, but make sure you take care of your school first, because that's what you came down here from. Like, you're miles and miles away from home to come to school, and I don't think you want to go back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I did great on this dance team, but I just flunked out of college.
Right.
Like, how would you explain that to your parents?
Right, And that's what I'm sort of was kind of thinking about. How do you try to get the students to understand that the passion that they have for dance needs to be the same passion that they possess for their books and their studies and their relationships? Like, what kind of message do you send to put that out there for them?
Study tables, or like, we'll talk to them individually if they look like they need help with school. We always ask, you know, hey, how you doing? How was class? Class was doing great. Do you think you did good on your tests? If they just sitting there and we over here like, yeah, we had it just like, how you think you did good with it? You know, we always ask that. And then, like I said, study tables, you know, we give students opportunity to come meet with us older members, and we'll sit down at the tables, and if they got a question or something and we have that same type of major or minor, and we already had that class, you know, then we'll, you know, say, hey, we had this teacher, we know exactly what this teacher's syllabus was all about and what kind of assignments, you know, so we could put our help out to that, you know. Or there might be another classmate walking on, you know, it'll start in the library, if anything. And if it's not in the library, you know, we'll go, you know, dorm rooms, or, you know, sit in the union, or somewhere where it's kind of quiet and where you can get your mind focused on and make sure that they excel in what they're actually doing, what they came down here to do.
Okay, so it sounds like you got a lot of different things going on, but if you were to get amnesia, what tool would you want someone to present to you and say, you know, this would be the only thing that we could give you to help you remember who you were? What would it be?
A beat.
Just any kind of beat?
Yeah, a beat would help me out, but in all seriousness, I would look for like the leaders that's already been established, you know, because they already here and the ones that paves the way and open the doors for members like myself. Like, so if I have amnesia, I'll definitely go to like, I'll reach out to like the head of like what can I say? A head of a body of the department. There we go. Ahead of the body of the department.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just got a little brain freeze. But yeah, I'll go to head of the department and I will be like, I'm looking for this, or I'm lost in my ways about this. And they'll direct me to either where I need to go to get the proper help that I need to for what I'm looking for, or they will help me themselves.
Right.
And go from that,
Okay. All right, so my final question usually to everybody, because this is sort of a research-based interview show, just trying to get the perspective from sort of the same starting point.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most important decision you make every day?
Waking up. If the Lord gives me breath in my body, I'm getting up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wants to sleep, turn over, and do I want to go to class, or do I want to go to work, or it's my day off, do I want to do laundry or something, just waking up,
Yeah.
I'm just thankful and happy that I woke up and see the sun on my face, and go to sleep with moonlight.
All right.
So it's always good to just wake up and knowing that, there's another day of either a lot of success or a lot of failures. Either way it go, I woke up.
Live to fight another day.
Pretty much.
Well, Deante, man, I appreciate you coming on the show today.
All right, no problem.
And good luck to you and everything that you're trying to do on campus and in the community.
Thank you.
We hope to talk to you soon.
All righty, thank you.
All right, I would also like to thank the University Television staff for their help putting this program together. And until next time, I'm Quentin Parker, encouraging you to get out into your community and reach for the Leadership Summit. Have a great day.